On a fresh morning, I step out onto the balcony, taking in the potted plants and letting my mind wander. Somewhere between the quiet and the greenery, an idea clicks. Is there something around here that could be turned into a DIY mini welding machine? Wait a moment, why is there an old phone charger sitting here? Hold on, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. This might be exactly what I need to build a DIY mini welding machine. Alright then, let me show you how it's done. First, I open the charger and remove all the electronics inside. The casing will be reused as a handle, while the charging board won't be needed in this video, so it's cut out and set aside. After removing the charging board from the adapter, I drill a hole in the casing to securely mount the welding tip. This hole is drilled to a precise fit, just right to securely hold the threaded body of the bolt I prepared in advance. In my hand, I have a single bolt with 2 matching nuts. It doesn't look like much at first glance, but it's actually a key part of this build. Once assembled, the bolt itself becomes the welding tip of the homemade welding tool, while the 2 nuts are used to lock everything firmly in place. This setup keeps the tip stable, easy to adjust, and capable of handling heat. A simple solution that does exactly what it's supposed to do. For connecting the power source to a homemade welding device, a single-core electrical wire made of many braided strands is the most suitable choice. This type of wire stays flexible and easy to handle while providing more stable conductivity than a solid core wire. The multi-strand structure also helps it handle bending better, making it a practical fit for compact DIY tools like this one. The end of this wire will be connected to an alligator clip, allowing it to clamp directly onto the workpiece or ground point. It provides solid electrical contact, quick attachment, and works perfectly for a compact DIY welding setup like this. I'll use an electrical terminal block as an intermediate connector between the welding head and the DIY welding tip. This piece allows the connections to be firmly tightened, ensures stable current flow, and makes adjustments or replacements quick and easy. With the terminal block in place, the welding head assembly becomes cleaner, sturdier, and more reliable in use. AA batteries are one of those everyday items we hardly think twice about, found in remotes, wall clocks, and countless small devices around the house. What many people don't realize is that inside this simple battery sits a surprisingly interesting component, a carbon rod at its core. This carbon rod is specifically designed to conduct electricity reliably and withstand heat during normal operation, which is no accident but part of the battery's fundamental structure. When you look at it through a DIY and recycling mindset, that carbon core suddenly becomes very compelling. From a conceptual and material standpoint, it offers decent electrical conductivity, solid heat resistance, and a straight, compact shape that naturally fits into small-scale designs. That's why the carbon rod from an AA battery is often considered a viable option for a homemade welding tip. Not because it's magical, but because the material properties make sense. It's a practical example of understanding what something is made of and giving it a second life, which is exactly what smart DIY recycling is all about. And just like that, a DIY mini welding tip made from an AA battery is born. Now I'll mount it into the correct position to complete the setup and move on to the next step. I'll also make an additional connector for the negative terminal of the power source. A simple electrical wire with alligator clips attached to both ends for quick and convenient connections. This small battery I'm holding is the most sensible choice to serve as the power source for the device. Compact, easy to manage, and powerful enough for a DIY mini welding setup. When an electric arc appears as the two terminals make contact, that's already a good sign of success. Still, to properly judge how effective it really is, stay with me from start to finish through a few simple tests coming up next. And just like that, from a handful of ordinary parts, a working DIY mini welding tool comes to life. Nothing fancy, nothing overcomplicated, just understanding the basics, a bit of patience, and a true recycling mindset. If you found this project interesting, make sure to stick around because there are plenty more hands-on ideas and experiments coming up in the next videos.